Listen to how powerful this message is.
Stop calling this man a martyr. He was killed for his political beliefs. Some people think that being a martyr has to do with the location of your ministry. Charlie was just preaching in college campuses, talking to students. If you somehow believe that makes him not someone who is fulfilling the call of God on his life, just take a look at this. Acts 19 is describing the ministry of Paul in Ephesus. He gets the disciples reasoning daily in the hall of Tyrannus. And this continued for 2 years so that all the residents of Asia heard the word of the Lord. The hall of Tyrannus was a Greek school where people would go, like a college today, to learn intellectual topics and to debate what is true. And Paul says, I'm going to spend the next 2 years debating every single day with all of these unbelievers. Does that remind you of anybody? Oh, Charlie Kirk wasn't a martyr because he was out doing things in schools and colleges. Hello? He was doing the work of the Lord. He was imitating Paul. You know what, Paul? It's not very Christ-like of you to debate. You know, if Paul did not spend those 2 years, we wouldn't have verse 10. Because of this, all the residents of Asia heard the word of the Lord, both Jews and Gentiles. If Paul kept the message in the synagogues, all of Asia would not have heard the truth of the gospel. I wonder how many atheists and transgenders, people who hate God, heard the truth because of Charlie Kirk, because he went out into colleges and universities preaching the truth relentlessly every single day. And we need to pick up the mantle and take the word of God out into the center of culture. God didn't give us the word of God to keep in the four walls of the church. How many pastors, if Paul was to have gotten assassinated for causing controversy among the Greeks, how many pastors would have stayed silent?
Yeah. You know what else clicked when I was watching that? Paul would go to the synagogues first and preach there. And then when they would get angry with him and kick him out, then he would go to the Gentiles. When he was in the synagogues with the Jews, he would use the Torah. He would use the Old Testament scriptures and show them the Messiah. And what I find interesting is because that's what they held true to, and that was their identity. Charlie Kirk, in a similar way, would use the Constitution as a pool to get people to see God and Jesus within the constitutions of the United States, and how the founding fathers were believers in God and an ultimate authority and an ultimate judge. And that's the truth that the freedom that we have is rooted in. Something that I seen and learned from Charlie Kirk the most is that he would use the constitutions and the Declaration. He would use the founding fathers to point people to Jesus and show them why our country is the way it is, why it is the greatest country in the world. And it is all founded on biblical truths.